I want to show you a story that feels unique to our time in history. It's a story of how the organization that controls the sport that humans love most was hijacked by a tiny country that controls the resource that humans need most.
Qatar, wealth from oil and natural gas,
resulting in this. A World Cup held in the desert, in a country built off fossil fuels and foreign labor, with a citizen population the size of Honolulu, Hawaii. I want to show you how this happened. How Qatar, this tiny country, beat out the US, Australia, Japan, and South Korea by convincing 14 of the 22 most powerful men in football to vote for them to become the host of the 2022 World Cup.
The winner to organize the 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
Okay, this is a big story and I'm excited to dive in, but before we do, I need to thank today's sponsor, one of the most unique I've ever been a part of, and I've been in the World 4. Why? We've been deep in this, trying to make a web, trying to make a visual that.
This is my favorite Johnny Harris moment, when he like does the strings that tie everything together shit, you know what I mean? When he just like, he's like looking at charts, maps, photos, tying everything together. That's my favorite Johnny Harris moment.
Help us understand FIFA and why this World Cup is being held where it's being held. I want to show it to you, and I've been really wrestling with how to boil this down, and I think there's just three.
Yeah, his editor is a Hasanabi head.
Understand if we want to understand how Qatar bought the World Cup. Check this out.
Damn, we didn't even do the Twitter
There's
fucking meltdown
you
shit.
have to understand to make sense of this story. They are FIFA. You have to understand the World Cup, and you have to understand Qatar. All right, this is our list. If you understand these three things independently, you can put them together to determine what really happened here and how this tiny desert country ended up with the World Cup. Let's start with FIFA.
What? Why are you guys doing that?
FIFA was started by 7 European nations in 1904. The original goal here was to help organize matches for association football, which is football. It's the thing we all know. It's the game where 2 teams of 11 players try to kick a ball into a goal. Football was no means invented here at this time at this place.
Chill, bro.
People have been kicking a ball around for like a million years. But it was here in Europe in the early 1900s when the modern authority for football was born, and born in pretty humble beginnings. But FIFA quickly grew into a transnational, quasi-political authority that spans the whole globe. In fact, we have a map for that.
No, I'm not gonna look through more Twitter stuff, Warger.
So this is FIFA today. It is massive. It represents 211 countries or associations that all belong to this one giant sporting organization. It's the most powerful, easily the most powerful sporting organization in the world. And it's got these 6 major regions or confederations. And it was the leaders from these regional confederations who in 2010 sat on FIFA's executive committee, based here in Zurich, in this bunker-like headquarters. I was actually there just a few weeks ago, actually. I'm in Zurich. This is where the FIFA headquarters, the FIFA museum are. This is where the votes happened. Please include the Okay, let's get back to this. Here we go. The 24 most powerful men in football, the ones who would go on to decide who would be the host of the 2022 World Cup. Here they are. They're just hanging out on our diagram, sorted by their confederations. Sepp Blatter, the president, right here at the top. Swiss guy. I'm gonna cross it off. I'm gonna cross it off the list. FIFA, we didn't go over all of it. There's obviously way more to FIFA than what I just talked about. The corruption, the scandals, all of it. But for the purposes of this video, which is trying to answer the question, how did Qatar end up with the World Cup? What we need to know is what we just talked about. The executive committee, the 24 most powerful men in football. I'm gonna cross it off the list. Next on our list, the World Cup. So eventually FIFA got big enough to where they could put on a big international tournament and people would actually come. They held it in Uruguay in 1930. 13 teams participated and they called it the
Uruguay!
World Cup. It quickly became the most prestigious tournament in football and eventually would become the most viewed sports event on the planet. Beating out even the Olympics if you consider that 1.1 billion people, like a decent chunk of the entire global population, were simultaneously watching in 2018 when France beat Croatia in the World Cup final.
Croatia!
1.1 billion people at the same time all watching the same thing. And, I mean, that's insane, but it's also kind of amazing. Like, what other thing brings that many people together? It is an amazing thing what global football has become, and that is basically thanks to FIFA.
A Hasanabi show? Yeah.
Sport has the power to inspire and unite people.
I mean, I'm immediately like actually almost crying. Like this is beautiful stuff. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this. These moments of like amazing like performance and then the reaction of these crowds.
Bro, come on, Johnny.
But it must be noted that when you have
Dude, get to the fucking meat, dog. God damn. Like, I just want to, oh my
attention
God.
on one event, 13% of the entire global population watching at one time, it will quickly become less about the beauty
He's the
of this
best
game
when he's at the heart.
and more
He's
about,
arriving at the fucking
I mean,
meat.
you know what
Don't
I'm
give
gonna
me so
say.
much
More
foreplay.
about money. With so much attention, corporations pay endless money to get their logos anywhere near this stuff. Here, or here, or here. Okay, that's not that surprising. What blows my mind is how far governments will go to also pay endless money to get anywhere near the World Cup. Not because they make money in return like the corporations. They always end up losing tons of money. But because there's a power in having the entire world focused on your country for a few weeks.
Together, you've given the American people an extraordinary opportunity to welcome the world to our shores as host of the 2022 FIFA World Cup.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. We plotted this, actually. We found this data.
Oh man, aren't your streams like 50% non-content and 160 ads? Yes. 1 minute out of 60 seconds is, or 1 minute out of 60 minutes is an ad. Yes, you are correct. It is 1/60th an ad. 50% non-content, I don't know about. Notice how I'm like picking fights with the chat. I start picking fights with the chat when I'm fucking bored. That's what it is. Also, I cannot comprehend how someone could unironically get on the internet, okay, and type, bro, I can't believe 1/60th of your content is an ad. Like, that's, you wrote that, you typed that, and you didn't even feel embarrassed to put that out there. Like you thought that was an own. You're like, dude, I can't believe it, man. Yeah, you're right. 1/60th is a fucking ad. Like, that's crazy. You watch it for seriously? No, I don't.
Every 4 years there's a World Cup, and this is how much each of these countries have spent on their World Cup. These are, again, taxpayer money here. This is government money being invested into hosting the World Cup. Throw this sucker onto a bar chart, and you get something like this. Like, it's getting out of hand. Like, every year they spend more and more and more. Oh, and spoiler alert, wait till I show you this graph with Qatar in the mix. Minds will be blown, I can promise you that. The point is that countries are willing to pay more and more to get the World Cup in their country, a moment for them to put their best foot forward on a global stage. This is what we like to call soft power. Okay, I am crossing the World Cup off of our list, not because I covered every angle of it, but because for the purposes of this story, this is what matters. Countries are more and more willing to pay unlimited amounts of money to try to get this event in their country because a billion people are going to watch it and it makes them look good. Okay? We're crossing it off. All right.
It's not the zit that's big. I mean, the zit's kind of big too, but it's actually the fucking zit thing, the pimple.
to the last piece of our puzzle, Qatar, a country that should be pronounced Qatar, but I'm not going to be that pretentious guy who shows up trying to
First of all, you are that guy. What do you mean? Just lean into it. Just say Qatar, Qatar, Qatar.
say it in the local pronunciation because it makes me sound cultured and cool. I am that guy. I'm trying to not be that guy. So for now, I'm just going to
At least he's self-aware. At least he's self-aware. At least he's self-aware.
Qatar. Okay?
Qatar!
Thanks.
Qatar! Qatar!
I'm going to be really quick on this history of Qatar. Like, we're not going into the full thing, okay? This is a very juicy history that I could easily do a whole video about. I'm going to give you the spark notes, which is that Qatar, for most of its history, was populated by nomadic tribes and fishing villages, whose biggest industry was pearl diving, which is like a pretty gnarly thing to do. Like, you like tie a rock around your ankle and go under to find clams and then open the clams and see if there's pearls. It was like hard work. The British eventually swooped in because the Industrial Revolution was happening and they smelled oil over here. Qatar becomes a British protectorate until 1971 when they became an independent country, an Islamic constitutional monarchy run by one family dynasty. So by the 70s, the British were gone, but crucially, the oil was not. And because of said oil, Qatar quickly transitioned from a poor tribal society to a globally connected
No, Qatar, not Turkish.
energy hub with unlimited money. This accelerated in the 70s when Qatar won the fossil fuel lottery and discovered that they just happened to be sitting on the largest known natural gas field on the planet. This guy. They share a bit of it with the territorial waters of Iran, but most of it's theirs. Oh, and by the way, all this fossil fuel and the revenue coming from it belongs to this teeny country, which this is a very teeny country. Like, we're talking about a country that fits inside of the sole of the boot of Italy. Look at this. I mean, it doesn't totally fit, it's like, but it's tiny. And we're talking about a few 100,000 Qataris here. This isn't a big population, and yet they're all getting in on this unbelievable amount of wealth. Like, we can't fathom how rich this teeny little thumb-shaped country is. They could not spend.
Yo, what's that long ass monitor? Guess what, bitch? He has an Emmy, okay? And I don't, and neither do you. So
their money fast enough. They didn't have enough labor to build all the stuff that they had money for, so they started to import labor from other countries. 95% of the people who live and work here are not Qataris. They're expats from other places, 95%. Meanwhile, the teeny population that are actually Qatari citizens live very good lives. They're some of the richest people on the planet. Most of them work very cushy government jobs that pay really well. They live in a welfare state where their needs are met because there is just unlimited money for everyone in this country. Okay, that's Qatar. So this is the moment where the three pieces of our puzzle come together. Because in the 90s, Qatar starts to read the tea leaves. They start to realize that the world is going to move away from fossil fuels, the one thing that they have. Their gravy train is going to come to an end in a few decades. It's time to prepare for the future, said Qatar, by investing their billions and billions, hundreds of billions of extra dollars into anything and everything that is not fossil fuels. Diversify. So they start to go nuts. Everything from real estate in Singapore and New York City to buying the St. Petersburg airport in Russia to buying Miramax Films and the Italian luxury brand Valentino. Like, boy, should I just make an entire video on Qatar Investment Authority? Because that would be juicy. In 2017, the BBC noted that Qatar owns more land in the UK than the Queen does. And as a part of this big diversifying strategic investment effort, Qatar focused on turning their country into a global hub for prestigious international events. You see where I'm going with this? Lucky for them, there is a shortcut to the most prestigious event in the world, the World Cup. Oh, and this event happens to be run by an organization that speaks a language that they're very familiar with, the language of money and power and influence. And here's where we are. So we're back here to this web, these gatekeepers of international football, the people who voted on who was going to host the 2022 World Cup. 14 of these guys voted Qatar, and I want to know why. Qatar, a country that FIFA itself, when they were evaluating all the bidders for the hosting, decided was not super suited for this. There's all these parameters that countries should have to be a good host. Qatar didn't really have a lot of them. And in fact, they had the opposite.
Why the fuck do you have 3 Emmys, chatter? No, like for real. What does that say? I can't even read it. I need to see this. No fucking shot. Sports feature. Black and white Bob's final game. Fox Sports West. Is that a daytime Emmy? Are you a camera guy? Nice, dude. I mean, it's a good flex. I respect that flex. Bro had his Emmys lying around while watching the Hasanabi broadcast, dude. That's crazy. Not even daytime, a sports Emmy? Okay, whatever. Shut up. How many fucking local sports Emmys do you have? Huh? How many do you have? I don't have any. Okay? He doesn't have BTTV. Wait, he doesn't? How do you know? Yeah, he does. Oh, he doesn't. Oh my God. Yeah, no shit. Because he's too fucking busy getting Emmys, dummies. That's why he doesn't have a BTTV, okay? Yeah, that's why. Because he's a fucking whole ass adult. Yeah. I love when... No, he doesn't have Chatterino. That was my Chatterino on screen. I love when, like, chatters fucking turn around and make fun of, like, actual adults who have done things with their lives. Like, this is the only community where this happens. I was thinking about that the other day while I was playing Valorant, and some dude was, like, bullying me. Some dude was literally bullying me. They were like, you're bronze, dude. You're fucking bronze. Like, we're playing a 5-stack, right? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, man, I'm bronze because I have a life, brother. Like, what's your excuse? I was literally thinking about that. I was like, yeah, you're platinum. That says way, way more about you than it does about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you fucking suck. No, I did say that. I said I'm bronze because I'm too busy fucking your mom. It's a big time commitment.
Super hot weather, no widespread football infrastructure, and perhaps most strikingly, not a huge tradition of football or even a significant local population to spread football to in their place. They have a couple 100,000 people. The World Cup is supposed to bring football to new regions and spread it throughout a country. How are they going to do that in a hot desert oasis with like 300,000 people? So let's do this. We're done with our list. Let's move on to the next part of this video.
Shut up, bitch.
Probably the part we put the most effort into, and I want you to stick with me here because the point isn't to go into every single detail of how some of this corruption went down. No one's going to remember every little detail. That's not the point. The point is to give you a sampling of the mechanics of how influence and power works, not just in FIFA, but in the international.
Wait, eBay rejected the invitation to Qatar? Wait, why did he do that? That's kind of wild. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold up. He did that? That's actually surprising. Motherfucker care. Yo, motherfuckers out here care about human rights like that? That's actually, I'm surprised.
System generally, how powerful people get what they want. We'll never know for certain because this vote was secret. But we know Qatar got 14 of these guys, and I think I have a pretty good idea of how for most of them. We're gonna start with this guy. This is Mohammed bin Hammam.
Oh man, his last name is Hammam, bro. That's crazy. Means sauna.
He's one of the executive committee members, and he's from Qatar. Okay, we can safely assume that he probably
or restroom, you know, like bathroom, like a bathhouse.
For his own country. But more importantly, It was him, a big-wig international football
Not a
guy,
sauna.
who helped pull the strings on everyone else on this web. Starting with this guy.
He's pigeon? Wait, really?
Jack Warner. He's an executive committee member from Trinidad and Tobago. Leaked emails and bank records obtained by the Sunday Times revealed that before the vote, bin Hammam deposited $450,000 directly into Warner's account. And later,
Yeah, nothing weird about that, dude. What?
even more, totaling $1.6 million. Just like literally, like he just paid him. Like this is the simplest version. Just like I will pay you money to give so you do what I want you to. It's just like so straightforward. No wonder, a month after the vote, in an email, Warner called his Qatari colleague bin Hammam, quote, "the only brother I have in football." Okay, one guy down. Who else? Next, we have the 3 executive committee members from the South American Confederation. The U.S. Department of Justice has gotten involved with these guys. They recently released an unsealed indictment against all 3 of them, alleging that these 3 were, quote, offered and received bribes in.
He said, I can't get the balls out of my head. Do you know the amount of sponsors money whitewashing towards Qatar that there is in the World Cup? Wait, really? Bro, that is a fucking, that's a big dub. That's actually kind of wild that he said that. Yep, in Arabic, Hammam is pigeon. I mean, I don't know what the balls, this is probably a scuff translation, but what is he saying? I don't give a fuck. That's what he means. It wouldn't come out of his balls. Oh, no me sale de los cojones. Oh, like his balls. It means I don't fucking want to.
In exchange for their votes. I mean, it's pretty unsatisfying. We don't have the evidence that the DOJ is using for this case, but they're building a case. Oh, and by the way, 2 of these guys just died in like the past couple of years. Next up, we've got these 3 guys from the Africa Confederation. A year before the vote, the African Confederation was having their annual meeting in Angola, which, by the way, was paid for by the Qatar bid team, the people who were like trying to convince people to vote for the World Cup. They paid for the whole thing. Okay, I get it. Trying to like lobby for your team, that's fine. But here's where it gets shady. While they were at this meeting, the Qatar bid team met with these 3 executive committee members. And according to a former employee who was in the room translating, the Qataris offered $1.5 million each to these guys in exchange for their promise that they would vote for Qatar. A year later, this employee turned whistleblower actually went back on her statement, saying that she actually lied about it and that there were no bribes. Kind of fishy. What's your incentive to lie? But then the FBI showed up at her front door and she admitted that she was pressured to say that she had lied about it and that actually the bribes happened. I don't know, man. We don't like, I side with the whistleblower. You can decide how you feel. And now her life is basically ruined. She said in an interview that, quote,
I will always look over my shoulder for the rest of my life.
Oh, okay, and while we're talking about this, one of those 3 guys that apparently got $1.5 million was later filmed by undercover reporters negotiating an $800,000 bribe in exchange for his vote. Like smoking gun evidence. Same thing happened to this guy, the executive committee member from the Oceania region. And they
Bro, what the fuck is going on with FIFA? Why is every single person involved in it just a crook? Like, it seems like every person, like, obviously, like, in an organization like this, you're going to have crooks, okay? People in positions of power are kind of fucked up. That's a given. But holy fuck, it's, like, more unique to find a motherfucker who's not.
actually got disqualified from voting. So these 2 guys didn't actually vote.
How'd they get disqualified, bro? Because they refused more bribes? Like, what? It seems like the qualifying aspect is how much bribery you're willing to take. They were like, hey, sorry, you only asked for 800 grand, disqualified, you dumb motherfucker. You could have gotten at least 1.5 mil. You are no longer qualified to assume this role.
So we're now down to 22 EXCO members. Let's keep going. Okay, so we've gone over the instances where there was direct money given in exchange for the promise to vote. The next phase of the story are more subtle versions of influence, less overt.
Dude, his ultra wide is so fucking fat, it's shaking every time he puts his elbow on the desk.
Less smoking gun-ish. Like this guy from Thailand. He's the executive committee member from Thailand. 4 months before the vote, Thailand and Qatar were renegotiating an energy deal. Thailand was trying to get a better price for their natural gas, something Qatar has a lot of. But for some reason...
No, this is not their boardroom. No shot. Oh, dude. Of course they're corrupt. Bro, this is the boardroom? Dog, this is like Legion of Evil, dude. What do you mean? They get together... Dude, you could literally put fucking Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, in that fucking room, and he'd be like, all right, so we got to do some supervillain shit, right? The environment demands it. I mean, that's evil. That's an evil space. You have to be evil, bro. You have to. Everyone else will fucking bully you. If you were in the Death Star like this, and you were like, hey guys, how about this year we don't do bribes? They'd be like, get the fuck out of here. They would literally, boom, press the red button, trap door opens up underneath you, you're in an alligator lair. You just fell into a lair full of alligators. It's done. They're eating you now. The vibes in this room are so fucked. Insanity.
This guy, a FIFA executive committee voting member, was at the meeting. Wait, what? Why is this football guy in the room while there's these big gas negotiations going on? Yes, I'm being coy. We know where this is going. I mean, you gotta read these leaked emails. They're so juicy. You've got a FIFA guy emailing a Qatar gas guy from Qatar Petroleum. They're talking about the development of their two football associations from their different countries, and then saying that they're gonna liaise with the CEO of the gas company to follow up about a liquid natural gas sale. I mean, it's just so clear what's going on here. Favorable terms of the deal in exchange for, hey dude, make sure to vote for our country. Oh, and who was this meeting between the gas guy and the FIFA guy arranged by?
I'm not gonna lie, part of me also is like I see how unethical this is because it's so brazen and transparently unethical. But then the other part of me is like always thinking like none of you motherfuckers would care if America was like bribing its way, which is probably, you know, anytime America gets a pick, I'm sure they're bribing too. Like, you don't think about the ethical complications of like working with America and the sports washing engaged with like, you know, American activities, right? It's just, I mean, you can't overlook the slavery aspect. That's, I will say, like that is definitely so brazen, so overt, so in your fucking face. That definitely is just like so obvious. Like I don't give a shit about the bribery stuff. It seems like they're definitely just, you know, they're doing that. That's always the thing.
By, you guessed it, this guy, Mohammed bin Hammam, the executive committee member from Qatar, who's pulling all these strings. Oh, by the way, just a little side note here. Going through these leaked emails, I couldn't help but notice that the FIFA guy's email was Sour Piggy at redacted. Sour Piggy? Sour Piggy. Sour Piggy's doing a lot of corruption lately. Okay.
That's weird.
I'm cutting, dude.
Oh, shit. Okay, and then there's a few just like sort of circumstantial ones that give you a flavor of how this works. Like this guy who sold his family's land to Qatar a year after the vote for 27 million pounds, which was like way over asking price. And this executive committee member whose son was given a job at a private Qatari hospital shortly after the World Cup vote. Both of these guys.
UEFA, Michael Dehuge. Look at his fucking face, dude. Look at this fucking face.
Of course, like everyone else on this list, denies any connection that this was influence. But now we're at the most significant moment in all of this, the thing that really tipped the scales for the vote. And it has to do with this confederation, the most powerful, the European Confederation. Specifically this guy, Michel Platini, a former French football player turned FIFA guy. He was the president of this confederation, which inevitably meant that he has sway over these other dudes. Just 1 week before the vote, like crunch time, Platini...
Bro, that's a crazy metric to have. Like, number of deaths in the organization of major sporting events in the 21st century. The idea, like, the fact that that is like a metric is also alarming. But then you look at the number of Qatar deaths and you're like, holy fuck, dude. What is it, like 300 or 600? I thought it was like 600. In the building of the fucking, 6,000 in the building of the stadium. Yo, I feel like you got stinky ass feet, no offense, but it's just kind of obvious. I have a decadent smell. Okay, it's delectable. It's delightful. How dare you? All Ronaldo's fault if we're being honest? 6,500 migrant workers died building the fucking stadiums. What is this? Even worse with the deaths? Come on, bro. I mean, that's just how a Greek salad looks. I'm going to be honest. If it was a Turkish salad, however, it would look much better. $6,000 is all migrant deaths from all causes over the past decades, not for World Cup building. The fan living space. There's no fucking way that these are the hotels for the World Cup. No, that's a lie. This is like, what? No shot, bro. You're crazy. That's some Fire Festival shit, dude. That's insane. Who the fuck? It's got to be like the worker space or something, right? They have tents in the desert because they don't have enough hotels? What the fuck? Bro, that looks like a FEMA camp. I'm going to be honest. Not very inviting or welcoming. Also, they couldn't even get good enough plastic for the fucking tent windows. Like, them walls are see-through, bro. What do you mean? Why would they want to host if this is what they're going to do unless there's some James Bond shit in the works? How could LeBron be a fan of this? No, man. LeBron knew this was going to happen. He called it out. Yeah. LeBron said this is going to happen. I told him, don't go to Qatar for the World Cup. Don't do it. It's going to be like Firefest. And he said it on the record, actually.
Platini got an invitation that he couldn't refuse. A luncheon with the French president at his palace. Platini later said that before this meeting, he was planning on voting for the US to host the World Cup in 2022. But he goes to this luncheon. And who else is there? No big deal. Just these two guys, the most powerful dudes in Qatar.
Sarkozy!
One of them, the prime minister of Qatar, and the other, the current emir of Qatar. From like the old dynasty family. It's important to remember the context here. Like what's happening. This is 2010. The world has just been rattled by a global financial meltdown. And the president of France, Sarkozy, is stressed. And he's in the room with the leaders of Qatar who are not nearly in the same
Dude, every president looks like this in France. It's so weird.
Financial trouble. See the section before about unlimited amounts of money thanks to fossil fuels. And it's clear that these Qataris want something. Something that the Frenchmen in the room can deliver them. A vote for their country to host the World Cup. Something they really want. According to sources close to this meeting, Sarkozy flat out...
French and Italian politicians all look like this. Italians are more like leathery, okay, more sunlight, and just like, they just straight up look corrupt. I don't know what it is. There is a corrupt stink on them. all German and Germanic politicians look dead, like they're fucking straight up zombies, okay? Dead in the eyes, just dead in general, lifeless, bloodless motherfuckers. And all French and Italian politicians look like they are they're at the precipice of being investigated for a massive corruption charge or like sex trafficking. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, that literally, the second part, not even a joke, that did happen to Berlusconi, who was investigated and found guilty of having sex with a 17-year-old prostitute. So there was that in his bunga bunga parties. So it's like, listen, I hate our politicians, okay? They're lizard people. I hate our politicians. They're lizard people, okay? Straight up. They're racist. They're lizard people. They're fucking fossils, okay? But there's a vibe about like Italian politicians. There's a vibe about French politicians that is just like, it's unmatched. This guy said bunga bunga. That's what the parties were called, yes. Yeah. Bro, you think I just pulled that out of my ass? No, I didn't just say those words for no reason. That's a thing that Berlusconi did.
Told Platini to vote for Qatar. Why? Well, we'll never know. But it's clear that he wanted a few things from Qatar. In this same meeting,
I don't know what it is, but they also look like they're going to be anti-Semitic. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I literally don't have any reason to say it. Well, for French, I do, actually. But like they just straight up look like they're going to say some anti-Semitic shit. Always. Okay, let's continue. I don't know why.
He wanted Qatar to buy the French football team, Paris Saint-Germain, which happens to be Sarkozy's favorite football team, and at the time was in financial ruin. After this meeting, a few important things happened. Number one, Qatar did end up buying that football team for 60 million pounds, just like Sarkozy wanted. They turned it around, and soon it became a star-studded team with merch that's worn by the world's most popular celebrities. And then we suddenly see an uptick in big trade deals between Qatar and France. Qatar Airways buys 50 giant planes from Airbus, the giant French airplane maker. I mean, if you look at what one of these planes cost in 2010, times it by 50, we're looking at $18 billion, a massive deal. And in the end...
Yeah, that's what you get for not going with Boeing, brother. American made, bitch. If it ain't Boeing, I'm not going. You guys ever heard about that? Don't say Airbus over Boeing. What the fuck?
Platini in this room with his president telling him to do what the Qataris want. We need them right now. And it worked. Michel Platini flipped his vote from the USA to Qatar. He admitted it later. That's not even speculation. The president of the executive committee, Sepp Blatter, was pissed about this.
I think it's pretty funny that America took a fat L on that one, by the way. I mean, that actually does make me kind of happy. Like, other than the slavery stuff, like the migrant labor conditions, the stealing of their passports and stuff, like, yeah, fuck America.
That this was the defining moment for Qatar winning.
No wonder the FBI got involved with the corruption scandals. I wonder, when has the FBI given a fuck about corruption in any organization, really? Kind of odd.
They have influenced Michel Platini at that time to vote for Qatar.
Because remember, Platini then went back to his European Confederation with 8 executive committee members, 8 votes, and he almost certainly influenced others to join him. One book I read claims that he took 4 votes with him.
Lizard people is an anti-Semitic trope? What do you mean? What? Who said lizard people? When I say we're lizard brain, I'm talking about like we're primal beings.
On a cold day in December of 2010, the day of the vote came.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup.
So on that fateful day in the winter of 2010
Did I say lizard
in Zurich,
people? I usually say we have a lizard brain.
Because it was
I said American politicians are lizard people. Yeah, dude. Yeah. When I'm saying American politicians are lizard people, like when I talk about fucking like Rick Scott, you know, that's what I'm being anti-Semitic to Rick Scott. Mitch McConnell, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. You know, famous Jews like Mitch McConnell, dude, or Ted Cruz. Oh, that's funny. That was a good one, dude.
voting day.
Clearly, I think we had an absolutely fantastic bid.
Well, we got a great bid, so we just got to go in there and give it everything that we've got.
I don't know if they're Jews now. I'm confused. No, man. What the fuck? His last name is McConnell. He's from Kentucky. You think Jewish people went to Kentucky? No, man. The fuck? His last name is literally McConnell. Mick. Okay? God damn, some of you guys are so fucking stupid. Holy shit, sometimes.
22 men cast their votes in multiple rounds until a majority victor emerged. At least 11 of them voted from Qatar since round 1. And finally, 14 votes were delivered to Qatar. A majority, and almost double what the USA got.
Kentucky has the third largest concentration of Jews on the planet outside of Israel and New York City?
Yeah, that's how it went down.
What?
That's how it went down. Like, look, we'll never know exactly what happened. A lot of this stuff we know because it leaked out and we were able to put it all together. But the fact is, every one of these men has been involved in some corruption investigation. I mean, it's no surprise that this stuff happened, and probably so much more. FIFA is corrupt to the core.
See, he doesn't even need to pick that up because he's like, I got so many more dollars coming in my way from... Wait, oh, by the way, that was an abject lie. That was just like, there's no... I'm not even giving that chatter the dignity of Googling that, okay? I'm not even going to fact check it. I'm just straight up telling you there's no shot on the fucking planet that Kentucky has the highest Jewish population outside of New York City and Israel, okay? That's not a thing. No shot.
Qatar didn't make this happen. Qatar just saw an organization that spoke their language, the language of unlimited money. And they used that to get what they wanted, to prepare for the future, to diversify, to get the world to look at them.
It is the biggest event in the world.
So no, this isn't just a game. The reason why all of this matters is because football can be a beautiful thing. No matter what language someone speaks, or their politics, or their god, or whatever.
What is it? What are we doing right now? You said it's true? No, it's not, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Kentucky is... Someone in the chat said Kentucky is the 15th. Kentucky does not crack the top 10, okay? Which it, of course, wouldn't. Are you fucking insane? You guys stop? Can you stop trolling? God damn it, dude. You made me accidentally fucking Google this dumb shit.
They have this universal language, this game, a global culture full of screaming and cheering and crying and pride and identity. It's ridiculous, yet so beautiful, so uniquely human. And in a very real way, football is a mirror to the world. What's acceptable here in this most revered sport is what's acceptable everywhere. So, by using money and influence to get the bid for the World Cup, Qatar showed us just how power works in our world. They showed us who really matters and who doesn't, and validated an old idea that the rules of fair play don't really matter if you have...
Okay, why? See, this is what I don't understand. It's like, but where? When was the... I thought FIFA as an institution was corrupt to the fucking core, and like, it's not Qatar. Qatar's just like playing by the corrupt rules. Not to defend, like I'm not defending Qatar in any meaningful capacity, but like, why is he making it seem like Qatar is like unique in its way of doing this when it feels like, or it seems like it's not unique at all to Qatar. Qatar's just playing the game. They just had more disposable cash as a consequence of, you know, natural resources and shit. Like I don't
have enough money. Hey, thanks for watching and for sticking around till the end of the video. This is just the first of 2 videos we made on this topic. The next video publishes soon, and it's kind of the next chapter of the story of what happens after Qatar gets hold of the World Cup and they have to build all this infrastructure. And it's a very long, intense journey that I go on to report that story, and I kind of tell the story of that reporting experience. So that will be out soon. I want to tell you about a couple ways that you can support our journalism here.
Hasanabi Harris keeps edging towards capitalism being the reason capitalism is so bad. No, he won't say it, though. He's a World Economic Forum guy. Come on. He's not going to fucking... Come on, bro. Okay, I've been waiting to watch this.
Kelvin,
Confident or creepy?
I'm Chris Nappy. I'm a dating coach and pickup artist.
Oh my God, this is going to be insane. Eternal 02, another 10 gifted subs, lacing me up like I'm a fucking FIFA consultant, and he's the Qatari oilman. God damn, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the motherfucking hour. Okay.